Hello, cinema friends. Welcome to another edition of Cinesundry. I'm your host, Markus Seaberry, and on today's episode, we're going to see a new installment in the Kingsman saga. This time it's a prequel, The King's Man. Okay, now before we get into our review of The King's Man, I want to remind you about our rating system. There it is. Now, their top rating is auteur. Those are for films that are just the very best. Acting, writing, direction, everything is perfect. Now, middling, the middle score, that's for those films that had potential or had promise, but didn't quite do it for you. And the last one, hack, that's for those films that are just terrible, abysmal, god-awful, horrible, and probably shouldn't have been made. And now that you know our ratings, let's get to the rundown. Well, you know the story. This is another movie about the Kingsmen. They're a UK-based peacekeeping organization. But this time, in this prequel, we're going to see their formation and all the events that had to happen for this organization to come into being. And next, let's talk about script and acting. The script was okay. It had potential. They tried to cram a lot in there. I think it suffered. I think it's another case of doing too much. But now the acting on them, man, was stellar. First up, you have Ray Fiennes. You know him. He's Voldemort. He who should not be named in the Harry Potter films. He was ordering James Bond in those last few Daniel Craig films. And he is Orlando Oxford. He is a fiercely loyal Englishman. He loves his country. He's bound by duty, but he is also very, very worried about his young son and always trying to protect him and keep him out of harm's way in at least the country. And that son is played by Harris Dickinson. Harris Dickinson plays Conrad Oxford. Young, brash man, ready to go, ready to fight, ready to defend his country, but always kind of being pulled back or reined in by his father. It's an interesting dynamic and an interesting conflict. And next we have Gemma Arterton as Polly. Now you may have seen her in James Bond films. You may have seen her in Hansel and Gretel. She's been in a few different projects over the years. And she does a good job as Polly. She is Orlando's right-hand woman. She's very dedicated and loyal, and she also cares deeply for him. And next we have Djimon Hounsou as Shola. Now, of course, you know Djimon Hounsou, Homicide, Guardians of the Galaxy, Shazam. He does a great job as Shola. Shola is Orlando's partner in the field. He's an excellent hand-to-hand combatant. He's fiercely loyal, kind of a badass, and just a ride-or-die dude. And our villain is Rhys Ifans. Well, he's one of our main villains. He is Gregor Rasputin. Now, you may have seen Rhys Ifans as the Lizard in the Spider-Man movie. In this film, he is Gregor Rasputin. He's evil, he's diabolical, he practices black magic, and he is really trying to screw things up on a global scale. And let's talk about director's technique. The director of this film is Matthew Vaughn, one of my favorite filmmakers, actually. He's done great films like Layer Cake, the first Kick-Ass. He also did Stardust. He's really good at fast-paced, frenetic fight scenes. He's really good at doing things that kind of just have a sense of wonder and draw you in. I liked a lot of what he did in this film. And let's finally talk about sentiment and rating. My sentiment when I ended this movie was disappointing because I really thought this was going to be the course correction that this franchise desperately needed. The first Kingsman was amazing. It was freaking amazing. The pacing was good. Everything was perfect. Kingsman of Golden Circle, that sequel, was not it. Kind of expanded the lore a bit too much, weighed down by a lot of unnecessary characters, and it just didn't do it for me. I really wanted this, again, to be that course correction and kind of get them on the right road. Maybe we can make some more fun films like the first one. But sadly, great acting, great action, so-so plot. The plot, the story, left a lot to be desired. And it saddened me. And so for that reason, I am forced to give the Kingsman a score of middling. Honestly, guys, at this point, they've struck out twice. Watch the first one. It's still great. But if you want any more Kingsman stories, read the comic. And that's going to do it for me this week on Cinesundry. I've been your host, Markus Seaberry. And as always, I want to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And take a little time to treat yourself to a movie. See you next time.